We're now going to talk about converting within customary length conversions. So I'd like you to take a moment and pause this video and record that 1 foot equals 12 inches, 1 yard equals 36 inches, 1 yard also equals 3 feet, 1 mile equals 5,280 feet, and 1 mile equals 1,760 yards. Now that you've had an opportunity to record those conversions, let's actually do some visualization. If you look here, here is a ruler. This ruler, if you'll notice, goes from 0 to 12 inches. If you then notice right up here that 1 foot equals 12 inches, so this is 1 foot. So we're going to use that knowledge to then do some conversions. If you look here in this video, you'll see a total of 3 rulers. There's a couple ways we can look at this. As we know that 1 ruler equals 1 foot. So therefore, we know that we have 3 feet. We can then take that information and realize right here that 3 feet does equal 1 yard, so that we know that 3 feet equals 1 yard. But let's say we actually wanted to know it in inches. Well, one way we can do that is realizing that there are 12 plus 12 plus 12 in order to get 36. However, we also know that repeated addition is the same as multiplication, so that 3 times 12 equals 36 inches. But why are we actually multiplying? Well, if you look at it in this way, if you notice that 1 foot is a larger unit, so you end up needing a whole bunch more inches than you would for a foot. So if you know that 1 foot equals 12 inches, and you actually have 3 of these feet, you're going to then multiply it times that 12. Whenever you go from a larger unit, you're going to end up needing a whole bunch more. Another way you can look at it is being 1 foot equals 12 inches. If we want to go to that 3, we're going to have to multiply it by that 3 to get that 3 foot. Multiply this by the 3 foot to get the number of inches. So that's one strategy you can do when trying to figure this problem out. Let's look at a problem that's less visual. We're going to take this. Let's pretend we have 2 miles. And we want to know how many feet that is. In order to do that, I really don't want to take and don't have the room to actually visualize that. But what I do know is that I do know that 1 mile equals 5,280 feet. I know that because of this right here. Now, in order to get there, I can notice that 2 miles, to get from 1 mile to 2 miles, I had to multiply by 2. I can then use that same strategy to multiply times 2, because it's kind of equal sides. In order to keep it the same, I've got to do the same thing for both sides to get 10,560 feet. Again, if I wanted to, I could actually kind of think about it in a representational model of 5,280 feet equals 1 mile. So then I'd have to have another 5,280 feet. And then realize if I'm adding together or multiplying. So this is a good way to use those bar diagrams. I'm going to now make it a little bit harder of a problem. I have 7,040 yards. And I want to know how many miles that is. Okay, that's not a factor that I can easily see or think about. So there's a couple ways I can actually look about doing this. So I then know, I'm going to look over here and realize that 1,760 yards equals how many miles? Okay, well, I know that's 1 mile. Well, so I can actually then figure out how many of those 1,760s it takes. So I can actually divide this. If I want to think about, well, how do I get from this over here to this? I know, well, I can divide 1,760 to get to 1. So in order to figure that out, I can then divide this side by 1,760 to find the answer of 4. Another way I can think about this is with the whole visualization of 740. I then can do repeated subtraction, which we all know is division, and go 1,760, not there yet. 1,760, not there yet. 1,760, I'm only at 5,280 at this point, so I end up having to do one additional one to end up with a total of 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to now give you a problem that I want you to try to do on your own. If I have 48 inches, and I want to know how many feet that is, I want you to think about that for a minute, pause the video if you need to, and then figure it out. You should have at this point figured out that, well, you knew that there were 12 inches in a foot. So, to get from there to there, you can divide by 12. Or if you want to think about this as going and multiplying times 4 to get to 48, you can think about it that way too. If that's the case, you'd multiply this times 4 to get 4. Or you can think about 48 divided by 12 to get 4. So 4 is the correct answer. At this point, I hope you've got a better idea. I'm going to let you work on some problems on your paper solving conversions amongst customary lengths.